I'm Austin Contreras, class of 2024, Edge for Green Mountain High School, and committed to Colorado Mesa University. And you're listening to Playmakers Corner.
Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to Playmakers Corner. For this special interview, we have a very important guest with us here today. If you would, please introduce yourself, where you're from, and where you've played, and all the positions that you've played.
All right. Hello, everybody. I'm Austin Contreras. I play like a linebacker, D-end hybrid at Green Mountain High School. I also play tight end, but not a very big part of my game. I've been playing for the Green Mountain program, youth and all, for about 8 or 9 years, and it's been awesome.
Dang, that brings me back to middle school. I always tried to convince my mom to let me play. She never would. And then the year that I tried hardest, that was my junior year of high school. And that year we won state. So, that was it was fun to watch, but it would have been even more fun to
you're on
play.
the team, right?
But and that actually kind of brings up the next question, where we all have our favorite sports experiences, watching at the very least. Like sophomore year for me, that's watching our school beat the Gatorade Player of the Year in basketball. But as a fan, at any sport, at any point in your life, what's been your favorite viewing experience?
My favorite viewing experience was actually on a game day visit this year to CU. I don't know how some of us got those tickets, but it was just really awesome. It was the CSU game, so it was real tight, overtime, crowds going nuts. It was just really got me just hyped, and it made me love football even more.
Oh dang, yeah, that I was at the Rockies game that night, but I actually go to CSU, so I bolted home and as fast as I could, and my roommates were on the couch watching that, and something in me said we were gonna blow it.
Yeah.
But okay, be honest with me here. Who were you rooting for in that game?
I was voting for CSU. My mom's an alumni, so I was voting for the underdog.
Hey, go Rams! Let's.
Sure.
I was kind of pulling for for CSU offering Colton or David.
Oh yeah, that'd have been sweet. They definitely deserved it, but
yeah,
getting looks is hard nowadays with the transfer portal and Twitter.
Goodness, ain't that the truth? And what has your recruiting story looked like? Because like going through, like I saw that you got 3 offers that you've posted about on Twitter, but as you said, it's been getting a lot harder with the transfer portal. Being from a not that Green Mountain is a small school by any stretch of imagination, but I'd say I'd be at games in 5A, and I would say, oh, well, Green Mountain's probably got the best line outside of the top 10 in 5A. And then so what has your recruiting journey been like?
Honestly, I started pretty late, like the beginning of my junior year, so didn't get to many camps to expose myself, and that's just been a problem the whole time. It's just my exposure, posting myself on Twitter. I've been a little shy about it, but I realize now that it really didn't matter and it's too late. But I had a Coach German, our head coach. He was really helpful with getting us coaches coming into school, getting us invites to junior days, camps. I had a couple FBS and FCS invites that I attended, but didn't really work out so well. And then I really got into it during this junior season. I'm just DMing coaches, send out emails, and finally a couple D3 started messaging me back. It was pretty sweet, felt excited. Ohio Northern University was my first offer, then came South Dakota Mines, which is in the RMAC, and things kind of took off from there. And and then recently, after the season, Colorado Mesa offered 5 of us, and 3 of us have committed so far. We're just waiting on one of them.
Dang, I saw that Mesa has been. I think Mesa now has the second most in-state recruits out of all.
Yeah. If you haven't been on campus, it's huge now. All the buildings are new. There's a bunch of money coming into the programs. It's just like I would compare it to a smaller, medium-sized D1 school.
Dang.
The campus is just giant.
Yeah, like and Mesa's Gunnison, right? Like
it's Grand Junction.
Oh, Grand Junction.
Western's and Gunnison.
Right. I've been to Grand Junction once. Well, more went to Palisade, but that both makes sense and really doesn't.
I know. This is weird.
What's the what's the stadium like there?
The stadium, I'd say it's like because the college and the high schools nearby share it. It's pretty big. It's not the biggest, but I think it's pretty nice. It's built pretty well. They got like I don't know what to say. The bleachers are giant. I'd say the bleachers are pretty big.
Oh, I think that's where they ended up playing the 2A game, the state game.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
Okay. I was wondering what that giant stadium was doing there.
Yeah.
And kind of going back to recruiting. So you talked a little bit about messaging coaches on Twitter and email and how all that's played in. And I mean, as you said, you did start a little bit late, but how has social media and the media in general impacted your perspective on the sport and like the spotlight that you can have as an individual?
The spotlight you can have as an individual it's really up to you and how much effort you put in, but it's also like 90% chance of who opens your message and just responds back to you. Because now with how Twitter's working, how sometimes the settings, if you don't change them, you have to be verified to DM other people. So you have to pay the extra $5, and sometimes it might be worth it, but I never gave that a shot. It's just, and everyone else is trying to get in contact with coaches and try to get to that next level too. So it's just, your chances are pretty slim.
Yeah, I get that. I was trying to help my friend Braden for a while, who he was also an edge rusher, and going through that process, it was a pain in the neck. Like
yeah.
And even for me, like I'm in college and I'm trying to message like people who work in the industry, and I'm like, do I really want to fork up $5 for somebody that's
yeah.
It's like somebody with a 2.5 GPA applying for Harvard. Like
yeah, that's really it's difficult.
Yeah, like it might work, but it all relies on it's a whole thing. And I mean, obviously, as he said, started a little bit late, but what are some things that you've been looking for in a school or a program, like different priorities that you've had?
Well, I'm a STEM student, so I've been looking for a good engineering program, and surprising to me, a lot of schools didn't offer engineering. So when a football coach would contact me, I'd have to turn them down, so because I didn't have my major. It also really just like a winning culture, like something similar to what we have at Green Mountain. A lot of football teams probably have that, but I really connected with what we had, and just listening to coaches and going on visits, looking at how they built up the culture and how they held the standard. I just wanted to be part of something that was strong and had meaning.
That makes sense. And I mean, he mentioned South Dakota Mines was one of your offers, and
right.
Well, I mean, RMAC is probably I said this the other day. They're probably the SEC when it comes to D2 ball. So, but I mean, yeah, the Hard Rockers are pretty good. Have you seen the thing that they do where they have the parking spots?
Oh yeah, I went on a game day visit. That was actually so sweet. Just on third downs, just big place. Everyone's honking. It gets super loud. It was awesome.
Yeah, Okay, Shasta, don't sanction me, but I feel like most of the refs here, if you did that, you'd be kicked out 5 minutes later.
Right.
Goodness, oh goodness, yeah, it's and I mean, looking at engineering and STEM, and I mean, there are a lot of good schools out there, as you said, a lot of schools that don't have those programs. But when you're looking at like the future and the different futures that you can have in engineering, what's your ideal like NIL or brand deal? Because I mean, you got some good engineering companies out there, but I mean, would you even want to do one with a STEM company? Or
To be honest, I haven't even thought about that.
oh no, like let's say you're in college and wherever you go, all of a sudden you're at the top of the desirability of different companies around the country, and you're only allowed to take one brand deal. What would your dream NIL deal be?
Oh God, definitely not engineering. That's not very. I don't know. I don't think those companies are very big. I'd say probably like either a big like athletic clothing company, or even like I've seen a lot of like restaurants and food like I'm sorry. I like to eat at Raising Cane's. If they would want to give me an NIL, that'd be awesome.
Oh, Canes. I love Canes. The toast with the sauce is
It's
like
so good.
I always just save the toast for last just so I can dip it in the remaining sauce.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're making me hungry here, man. What's your favorite pregame meal? Like you're going into a big matchup, you know you got to have something that gets you through. What's your go-to?
Go-to? I would probably say, I mean, you gotta have my favorite like carbs or whatever is just bread and butter, just toast. That's good. That's good to keep the energy up. And then to help with like cramping, I've been doing this for all 4 years I've been in Green Mountain, just like down in a cup or two of pickle juice before a game so you don't cramp, because I'm prone to cramp and it happens even when I do it. And then an avocado with salt as well. It's pretty good, just eating with a fork. Oh, and then banana. Yeah, toast, avocado, banana, and pickle juice. That's usually what I had before a game. Not the greatest combination, but it kept me going.
Hey, if it works for you. I mean, you ever do the bananas on the toast?
Yeah, with peanut butter. That's pretty good.
Yeah. And when you're having the avocado, you ever get that little squeeze of lime or lemon on there to keep it fresh?
I've never tried that. I might have to do that next time.
And now, I mean, you mentioned a little bit more on field. So looking a little bit more at your play style and like your history with the game. Who would you say you model your game after?
Ooh, while playing, I've looked a lot like at Aaron Donald's D-line technique. I've tried to copy it, but some of it's just insane. He's just so strong. But it's like how quick his hands are, and like when he knows how to use them. I've been trying to use him as a mentor. And then I've also looked at what's his name, the edge on the Eagles. Hassan Reddick. I think that's his name. Yeah, he's a smaller guy, which is kind of, I'm not very small for high school, but for the next level, kind of for an edge. And he's just super quick off the line, and he gets low, and it's just something that I also try to copy.
I mean, both good guys to model play after. I mean, Aaron Donald, I know in particular. We saw it with you this year. You got I think like 8 sacks.
I think that sounds about right.
Which, I mean, a lot of guys don't get that for their career, but I mean, you had a pretty long career. You're listed on the varsity roster for all 4 years. And when it comes down to it, whether in football or outside of it, what's been your favorite playing experience? Yeah, just any sport that you played.
Any sport. I can't really account for like the fans because I'm so locked in. Can't really I don't hear anything. But this year's quarterfinal game against Roosevelt, it was like our revenge tour we're trying to get at, and that energy our team had was sweet. I just loved how in tune we were, how excited we were playing, and just being physical and dominating, frankly.
Yeah, that. And I mean, I watched Roosevelt twice this year, once against Severance and once against Holy Family. And the way you guys just like first half, it was kind of close. Second half, though. Yeah, I went back and watched some of that film. Oh goodness, and that does kind of make me wonder what was your reaction to that state championship game this year?
It hurt us. I mean, it hurt me because I knew we kind of like you're talking about the Holy Family Lutheran run this year, correct?
Yeah.
It didn't feel good because we knew we could have beat Lutheran, and they looked like they got mollywopped by Holy Family, and us at Green Mountain, we feel like we're the number one team in 3A, and we shouldn't have let that happen. We just disappointed ourselves and let someone who outplayed us in the second half what's the word? Misuse that opportunity in state, I guess. Misuse. I don't know.
And second year in a row as well, which was a bit interesting. But I mean, I bet it did feel good to get revenge on Bronco and X and them, and
yeah,
in the quarterfinals. And I will say, did I talk to you at the Mountain View game?
No, I was already in the locker room.
Okay, right. Well, I said this to George and George, Blake, Colton, and David, but I was like, if I had to put down money, I'd say that it would be you guys, Lou High, Holy Family, and Roosevelt at the time in the Final Four, and I got 3 out of 4 right. But I mean, Durango kind of came out of nowhere this season.
Yeah, I did not see him being that good this season. We played him in Pueblo over the summer, and they just did not seem like the team they were the year before, and they were missing guys, and I guess they pulled it all together before the season started because they looked pretty good on film when we were watching.
Yeah. I actually sat in on an interview Cody did with their quarterback, Tyler Harms.
Oh yeah.
And he talked about how for some reason it was only their left guard that was circulating in and out of being healthy. Outside of that, once they got their guys, they got them.
Oh yeah.
But a lot of that comes down to knowing who you are. And I mean, you know the player that you are, and it does make me wonder, what was your reaction to the podcast evaluation of your game this season?
I was honored. I was honored to be on it. I didn't see that coming this season, but I agreed with almost all of what you guys said. Honestly, it felt good just being recognized for all the hard work you've been putting in, even though everyone else is putting hard work into, you're just standing out among the rest, and it just felt awesome.
Yeah, I get that feeling. Yeah, is there? Yeah, and I remember back in school, I was just for speech, which I told you about earlier, but I made nationals 3 years in a row, and nobody ever talked about it.
That's tough.
Yeah, and I was just like, come on, I'm the only person that's done that. So again, we're talking about messaging coaches and getting your name out there. What are a couple of qualities that separate you from other edge rushers across the country or across the state?
I included I think my speed and I mean, I don't know if I have blazing speed, but I feel like I'm pretty quick getting off the ball. He sometimes catches those tackles off guard. And just really the use of my hands, I feel like I got pretty good separation and could get blockers off me pretty quickly. And also, I feel I'm a very physical player as well. Just manhandling guys, toss them to the side or knock them on their behind. Yeah.
Technically, we're not regulated by the FCC, so you can say what you want. Well, I mean, fast and able to knock guys on their butts is certainly a very good quality to have in this sport. Now, if we were talking basketball, knocking guys on their butts probably
right.
would.
Yeah. No, I do.
But yeah, for this, that is really good. And I mean, you've had a chance to get off the ball quick and face. I mean, granted, not during the game that I watched you guys in, because Mountain View was. You remember their best player was their punter, right?
Yeah, he hit a leg. He hit a boot. He was good.
Some guys can only wish for that, but outside of that, you played basically every top team in the state this season. So from this year, who's been your favorite individual matchup, and then what's been your favorite team to play against?
This year, my favorite. Are you talking about like any player or just lineman or any player?
Yeah. Anybody that you either tackled, like lineman, just favorite guy to strategize against, like anybody.
I'd say one of my favorite games of the year, and just almost 90% of the team was Golden, because we're like 2 miles apart from each other. That's an exaggeration. It's a little further, but like we all know each other, and it just made it more intense. And my favorite like matchup was just going against Montre, going against someone has multiple D1 offers, just seeing how myself lines up against him. And then for the past 2 or 3 years, we played Pueblo South, and their guard Orion. I think it should have been fun playing against him, because whenever he pulls, I'm just taking him on, and it's just fun, just battling back and forth. And then favorite non-lineman. Oh, actually, there's the tackle for Lutheran. He was super lengthy. He was pretty difficult to play against. Kind of showed we didn't get much pressure on the quarterback that game. Yeah, he was pretty fun to play against. And then non-players, number 44. I don't know his name, from Glenwood Springs. He was the running back. He was an athlete.
Markovich.
Yeah, he was an athlete. He was big. He was difficult to match up against. He was a monster. And then of course, Roosevelt playing against Bronco, just that back-to-back both years.
Yeah, but Bronco, if there was a top 5 senior athletes, so like senior two-way players.
Oh yeah, he's up there, and I've seen he's pretty awesome at wrestling too.
Yeah,
he's a great wrestler.
Yeah, and I mean, hey, if you go into the RMAC, you'll be playing him. Just back here.
I think we're gonna be on the same team. I've recently committed. I committed to Mesa. We're both going to Mesa.
When did that happen?
He committed. I don't know.
Well, I saw when he committed. When did you commit?
On Monday.
Oh, damn.
After an official visit, yeah.
That is really darn. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
That is awesome. Are you going to be playing like a D end or more as a linebacker?
Right now they have me on the roster as an inside linebacker, but I talked to the D-line coach of playing like another similar hybrid to what I play at Green Mountain.
Very good. Yeah, that is absolutely awesome, man. Congrats.
Thank you.
Like, if I'm being honest, I was a bit worried myself, where I was like, is he gonna get picked? Like I wanted you to, but I was worried you weren't gonna get picked up.
Right.
So. Oh goodness. And that actually kind of leads me into the next question I had, where it's like, obviously being in Colorado as a state, at least in my opinion, is overlooked on the national level.
I think I agree. There's a lot of good athletes that live here.
Yeah, I mean, like, if you played in Texas, you probably would have had like an FCS offer.
Right.
But obviously there are underrated guys all over the place here. So who's someone that you played against who you think should be getting more shine?
Ooh, I think those Severance brothers, the Jeremiah and Jaden, they're a pretty tough combo to play against, and I'm not sure which one it is. The wide receiver, Jeremiah.
Yeah,
he's got blazing speed. He's quick. I think he deserves an opportunity to go play somewhere big.
Most definitely. I think he got an offer from Charlotte a couple of weeks ago.
That's sweet.
Yeah, and something you may not have seen. You'll actually be playing against Jaden for a few years. He just committed to Fort today.
I did see that.
Yeah, which, I mean, how do you feel about competing against Colorado talent on the next level?
I think it's kind of it's cool. Just trying to keep those matchups, those rivalries going. Just honestly, it's kind of more of building bonds with other kids, seeing how I don't know, just keeping those matchups going. I think it's pretty cool. And also, it's also almost kind of funny how the RMAC is just a bunch of Colorado kids.
Yeah. Like, I mean, looking at the list of guys that you're going to be going against, you'll be going against guys at Mines, at CSUP, at Western.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
Goodness, yeah. And I mean, of the guys at Mesa that you're going to be joining, most of them are actually 3A. Obviously Bronco. But then you also got Levi Yane from Riverdale Ridge, Tyler Harms from Durango. We talked about him, and a couple of 2A guys, a couple of 4A. But who's someone that that you've heard about where you really wish that you'd have been able to play against, that you think would have challenged you on a very good level?
Ooh, that's committing to Mesa.
Well, not that's committing to Mesa, just like that you wish that you played against during your high school career.
During my high school career, ooh, I think in order to make me a better player, to challenge myself more and really get my mindset so where I need to just get even better, work harder than I have already, was Landon Davidson, right? That's his name, for Broomfield. I throw shot put and discus as well, and just standing next to him, I felt tiny. He's massive, and I just wish I had the opportunity to put myself against him and see what would happen.
Yeah, he's big. I don't like sometimes I wish that I was 5-6 inches taller. And then I look at him and I'm guys like him, I got to meet Ethan Thomason when he was playing for Rocky Mountain.
Right.
I just looked at him and I'm like, man, even if I was 6 inches taller, it's still tiny.
There are some big dudes out there.
Yeah, I mean, if there's one thing that Colorado does 100% right, it's produce good linemen.
Yeah.
And I mean, you've had no shortage of good linemen on Green Mountain for these past few years. And who are some teammates or guys that you've worked with in the off season that you've interacted with to get better? And how would you describe the impact that they've had on your game?
I think going against my teammate, just in good on good scrimmages, just me going against my teammate Colton Patterson. He's really developed his game, and he's really developed those hands to counteract what I'm doing, and it kind of just make me develop my quickness and my hand reset, and just really creating a counter move, because I used to just go one way, and if I got blocked, I wouldn't move. But once I what's going against him with his developed skills, and really he's awesome. He's pretty big too, 6'5", 290 or something. Just going against somebody his size with his ability just really improved how I played and made me think more of a mental aspect to the game, recognizing what's going on instead of just playing physically.
Yeah, how do you become the unstoppable force to get around the unmoving object?
Right.
Goodness, yeah. When I talked to him and David after that Mountain View game, I was just like, how does anybody sack Blake?
I know. He's big. He's lucky to have him on our team.
Yeah. And then so I called George Blake, David, and Cole, and I'm like, not a one of you was under 6'3", are you?
No. Our team was huge compared to everyone else in our league and just who we played this year. We just sized up way better against everybody.
Yeah, you got guys like Blake, George, obviously yourself, David, Colton. Just Green Mountain's got dudes. And everyone knew that heading into the season. Undefeated regular season last year. Fell a little bit short in the playoffs thankfully against the eventual champs. So you can't be, you can be disappointed, but you can't be mad that you lost to a team that lost by 60 the next game.
Right.
And so coming in, did you have a chance to listen to our season preview? If not, it's all good.
I think so. I think I did. I'll say yes.
Okay. Well, then what would you say was your reaction to that the first time you heard that? Because we said basically, yeah, Green Mountain has got guys. We expect big things this year.
I totally agreed. I thought we were going to get a ring, of course, but just hearing that made us want it to come true. Made us want us to work for it and make sure that it did happen. And unfortunately, it did not.
Yeah. And I mean, week by week until I'm not asking this to make you feel bad about about how it ended, but like week by week, like thing from the outside, the prospects of a championship kept looking better.
Right.
And I'll tell you, I was the first one of the guys at the podcast to rank Green Mountain at 1. Because I saw Mountain View, and the next week Holy Family played Mountain View, and they didn't do nearly as good against them.
Yeah, yes, I do remember that.
And so, but that's the outside perspective on it. So what was the inside the locker room version of the week by week? You got the good, the bad, the funny, like everything that happened over the season that you're allowed to talk about.
All right. I'd say this year there really wasn't that much bad because we've all been for the program for 3 years, most of us starting since sophomores, and we're just tight knit. We live and die for Green Mountain. We bleed black and gold. So we really just knew what we needed to do in practice and outside of practice to really get where we needed to be. But then we also, I think we were undermining ourselves for most of the season because we're like, oh, we're not playing that great a competition. I wonder if we would be doing the same way if we're playing those tougher teams. And then once we started finally believing in ourselves, I think we overlooked that semifinal game and just went downhill after that. After we were up 21-7, we were just kind of like, oh, we already won. This is in the bag, and then we just let them take that tiny door crease and take it back from us.
Yeah, that's I kind of had a similar experience my junior year where I wasn't playing. I was managing for our basketball team, and we were up by 12 in the third quarter in the Final Four.
Oh, yeah.
But our thing was also we had to a bunch of big guys. We had 4 guys on the team over 6'6".
Oh.
But the other team, they had 3 guards that ended up going D2. So yeah, we got sloppy and we let the speed beat us and ended up losing that by 5. So it's a unique feeling when it comes to playoffs, right? Where, I mean, with every win, you're ending someone's career, but when you're out, I mean, for most guys, that's the end of their career, period.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, what's, in your opinion, what's different about playoff football compared to the regular season?
Like what you said, it's win or go home. You're either doing what you need to be doing, or you're going home, sitting on the couch and watching everybody else do what you wish to be doing. It just brings that intensity, that it just boosts every team's intensity so that they can stay and play another week that, everyone wants to reign.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I mean, not everyone can win one. And
yeah.
I mean, every year you see a team sneak in where you're extremely skeptical of their chances. Let's just say, like, Mountain View almost made the playoffs.
They had a tough schedule.
He talked about how, I mean, you talked much earlier about what Coach German has done to ensure a winning legacy at Green Mountain. And I mean, the fear that a lot of teams feel when they look and they see they got the Rams on the schedule. And he talked about how you let some of the errors of that semifinal game, or from the Roosevelt game, kind of fall to the wayside a little bit. And so when you're looking at next season, what are some lessons that you hope that the younger players, the freshmen up through the juniors, what do you hope they take with them into next year?
Well, I hope they realize that any practice really could be their last, whether it be injuries or practice before a playoff game, and that every detail matters. So if just really every little detail matters, because it'll either lead up to something real big, or if you don't do it the right way, you won't get to those big goals that you have, and you'll just stay. Like Coach Sherman always talks about, the average teams do what needs to be done, or a little bit less, and then the great teams do exceed the culture, build the culture, and just live for the team and for themselves. Because he also talks about building yourself to be a greater man, like probably every coach talks about, but he really helps us. He gets us to volunteer. He gets us to get tutoring. He really, I'll say, he changed my trajectory, I would say, since I was a freshman. I was just really not motivated or anything, and he just gave me a standard and meaning to go by. But back to what I wish the younger players would remember. I'm sorry, got carried away. That it's a brotherhood. Everything you do, you're doing it for the man next to you, and that it ends quickly, and it all matters whether you don't want to do it, you do want to do it. I wish they remembered that every detail matters, and it will soon come to an end, even if you think it's going to take forever. And if you really don't want to do it, either change your mentality and get your brothers to pick you up, or stop doing it because you're just hurting everybody else. And we had a couple guys like that last season, which kind of held us back from that ring last year. But this year we were all tight knit. And
you're making me think back to a couple of guys that I used to, when I was playing baseball, a couple of guys that I played with, and a couple of the kids I managed back when I was doing that. And but I could tell him if I could go back.
Right.
It's good to know that Coach German is there to help and to streamline it. And what would you say is unique about Green Mountain, like both like athletically and as a community that's able to come around these players? Regardless, I mean, the success is good. Don't get me wrong, but regardless of that, what is unique about that community down at Lakewood?
The community, I would say, is unique. Really, we have a bunch of local stores, local programs that like advertise us. Like they have merch, they have like flyers for games. It's just everyone's rooting for the Rams, and as well in return, we go volunteer around helping children, or even like what was it? Well, just like simple jobs like moving furniture out of somebody's house, or transporting whatever someone needs from place to place, and everyone's there to help each other, help one another, whether it be players or citizens, I guess.
Oh, that's really nice. Yeah, yeah, that's great. And I mean, that's the community surrounding the school. How would you describe not just football, but like the athletic culture at Green Mountain? Like, what's unique about the athletic culture for the Rams?
I'd say, I think one unique thing that I can think of right now is that the standards, the culture, everything put together for like the rules and everything and all that was built by former players from other seasons. So a coach didn't put that together. It was players just letting everyone know where they want to be and how they're going to achieve it. Just setting the path for generations to come, classes to come, and just trying to hang more banners and build greater people.
Oh, that's really nice. I feel like if more schools had that player culture set mindset, if I'm interpreting this correctly, like if more schools had that mindset, we'd probably be closer in terms of recruiting and reputation to Georgia, Cali, and Texas. Well, as much as we like the more morose and thoughtful side of things, a little bit more on the cheery, bright side, I guess. What was your reaction? Because we had a number of Green Mountain guys on our awards lists. We had Coach German, who won Coach of the Year. Blake was an MVP candidate. You were a deep boy candidate. David and Colton made our All-PMC team along with yourself. What was your reaction when you saw all of that coming out?
I think it was almost relief, because all of us have been working for it, and we just wanted recognition and all that. But also, it also kind of made me realize that it's hard to get recognition, because we have so many guys on our team that some other players don't get looked at either, even though they're doing that just as much work, performing just as well. But there's just so many of us that they get put behind and fell behind.
Yeah, like personally, I wish that George wasn't in the conversation for a couple of our all-state spots, and he just barely got beat out. And yeah, it was tough in 3A this year. But yeah, that makes sense. That there were a lot of good players on that team. And and I'm not just saying that to blow smoke. Like there's a lot of good guys there. And how would you say Coach German does things differently to like wrangle the talent, not saying that there's like ego problems, but like make sure that everybody's ego stays in check? And like, how would you describe how he does that in his coaching style?
I mean, he doesn't. He lets everybody know if you're doing something wrong, if you're not following whatever. He puts you in check, like even if you're team captain, best player on the team, whatever. But he also has one-on-one conversations, helping us captains make sure that everyone else is pulling their weight. Like we had a problem last year with seniors thinking they were better and they didn't have to do as much as everybody else. But he just does a very good part as making sure everybody knows that they have an opportunity to play. There's no seniority or anything, and he just lets you know. He lets you know that you're just as good as everybody else, and that you need to work to be on top and work for. And also we're the brotherhood that we have, the Foxhole brothers. We're just working for each other. We want our brother to have whatever we have. Just making sure that we're all taken care of and we're all doing everything right.
And I mean, yeah, he makes sure that everybody knows you do the work, you get what you earn, and you got your brother's back, and make sure they do it right. And do you see that? I mean, obviously that's what a lot of coaches say that they do.
Right.
You don't always see it in practice.
No.
But what would you say that he does, like, that stands out the most differently from the other coaches that you've played, not just this year, but in your career?
He fights for you. He has your back as you have your player's back as you have his. He'll work for you. He just like as you serve him, he serves you. He's very nice. He's more of a friend than a coach, honestly. That's what I have to say. And yeah, I'm not sure if I can add anything else off the top of my head.
Hey, fair enough. And I mean, now that you and your friends have all gone through that system, is like Foxhole Brothers. How would you describe the Foxhole Brothers? Because you used that phrase, and I've not heard that one before.
It's from the Band of Brothers, I think. It's just an army reference, how you just dig down in the trenches and you're just there with your guys, just trying to make sure everyone survives. And it's part of our we have 5 core values: energy, toughness, discipline, family, and finish. That's part of our family. It's forget about me, I love you. We are a team of Foxhole brothers. Put one above ourselves. And oh my gosh, I'm disappointing myself. I don't remember the other 2. I knew them for 3 years. Man.
Well, I mean, technically, it's good if you should probably ask Coach if he can write them down for you, but technically you don't need to know them from here out. But
right.
Oh goodness, that is kind of funny. But I mean, moving forward, this team is going to look completely different heading into next season. It's going to be a completely new band of brothers there. And so who are some of the younger guys on the team that you want to get a little bit more of a spotlight on?
Oh, two juniors that actually played this year with us. They're rotating in at middle linebacker with Blake. Was Jordan Dowell and Hudson Burke. They're built the same. They're just dogs. They love making the other person work for it if they really want it. And on the offensive side, we have Dax Gomez. He played for a little bit this year for us too. He's got great hands. He's great work ethic, and he's a great kid. And almost selfishly, my brother, Drew Contreras. He's an athletic running back. He can get places fast, and he's just all downhill, no brakes.
Hey, those all gas, no brakes running backs can be. I mean, I've known a few of them during my time, and they ended up being some of the best in school history. So I get what you're saying there. What year is your brother?
He's a sophomore, 2026.
That does not feel right. I'm graduating from college in 2026. Goodness. Making me feel old. I was class of 22, so. Oh goodness. Oh my. Well, now that you're gonna be you're gonna be class of 2028. How does that feel?
Yeah. It feels like a long time away. It feels like it's gonna be forever, but knowing high school is gonna go by like that.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it feels like I put my first step on campus like 2 days ago. Yeah. I mean, and you mentioned it. High school went by in a flash. So now that your career is over, on the high school level at least, what's like your outlook? What are your goals for college ball?
Honestly, I do want to start as a freshman, just to get my feet in the water quick. Just make sure I have the most opportunities possible. Also, to save my red shirt instead of in case something bad happens. Knock on wood. And I kind of want to bring what we have at Green Mountain to the program, and like try to get what I live by now, so what everyone else lives by, which is also helpful because I have, as of right now, 2 other teammates going there, which we can bring that program, that system there, and not football, but academically, I do want to get a degree in electrical engineering and pursue a successful career in that, and just kind of live large, honestly.
Very good. And I mean, would you ever consider coaching, like somewhere down the line? Like let's say you're graduated from college and you're looking for something to do during the summer months, or like on the professional, on the college level, even
I'd say
on the level.
100%. I love this game so much. It's really just been live and breathe football the past 4 years, and it's something I'm not ready to let go of yet, and don't see myself letting go of anytime soon, anytime in the next 10 years.
That's good. That's good. Yeah. And I know that this is kind of some of the guys have had a bit of trouble answering this one, and it's odd going back to the mindset that you had 4 years ago. But if you had a time machine and you could go back to the first day that you stepped on the Green Mountain High School campus, your freshman year, and you could give yourself a piece of advice about like sports, recruiting, relationships, academics, like any of that, what would you say to yourself?
Well, I started late recruiting, so I definitely tell myself, get started on that as soon as you can. Build as many relationships as possible. Just getting to know coaches, getting to know other programs and what they're like. Just making sure you know where you're wanted and where you want to be. Also, to get in the weight room. I didn't really start that until my junior year either. And yeah, I'd say to study the game more. Learn what everybody else wants to do when they're playing, so you can counter it and just make sure you look like the best player on the field.
Very good. Very good. I can't even imagine what I'd say to high school freshman me, but that's some good stuff. And I mean, you've had a lot of help along the way. You've mentioned Coach German, and I am saying that right? Like,
yes, sir.
Okay. I was wondering if it was German or like
right
something. But now that we're getting closer to the end, is there anybody in particular who you would like to mention that you would like to thank, that's been important to your academic, athletic career, friends, families, coaches, players, just everybody who you would like to acknowledge? And yeah.
All right, let's see if I can think of all of them. First, I'd like to thank Alan Ortiz. He was a senior at Green Mountain when I was a freshman. He was kind of like my mentor. He played the same position as me on defense, but he went to college to play wide receiver at New Mexico Highlands. And then last year he transferred to New Mexico State as a walk-on. And I think he got some playing time this year. I'm not really sure, but yeah. And then JJ Armstrong, another player, a senior my freshman year. He was the hardest working player wherever he went. He was just always trying to be productive and progressive. And then to adults, Mr. Campbell, a teacher of mine, he really got me to start understanding that school does matter and that you need it to go where you want to be. And it just kind of sets the foundation of your discipline and how hard you will work. And then my basketball coaches, Thagnan and Puccio, also helping install a disciplined, hard-working mentality inside of me and making sure I knew I had to work for it, because I had to work for that. And then my parents supporting me, my grandparents supporting me. And then last but not least, Coach German, who's been there for me for the past 4 years, just making sure I am the best version of me that I am and I'm going to be and will be, and really just helping me create opportunities and make sure I have an opportunity to do what I want as college football and other academic sides in the future.
Oh, yeah, that's very good. It's it's funny, before 2 or 3 days ago, we'd never had a player shout out like a teacher from the classroom before. And then in like 3 days, and then I think it was also Tyler Harms who brought up a teacher. So, that's cool. And
everyone else, you know who you are.
Thank you very, very much, Austin. I mean, it's been really, really nice to be able to talk to you, like, legit. This has been a really nice conversation about not just your playing experiences, but about Green Mountain, the culture, and what the past 4 years have been like for you. And thank you very, very much for coming on today. And we can't wait to see what you're able to do heading forward at Mesa. We'll be watching to see what you're doing in the RMAC, the SEC of D2. And I mean, that is basically going to do it for this episode of Playmakers Corner. You can find us podcast-wise anywhere that you listen to podcasts at Playmakers Corner. You can find us on Twitter at Playmaker Corner. Playmakers Corner was already taken there, but it wasn't taken on Instagram, TikTok, or any of our other socials, where you can find us again at Playmakers Corner. Follow us there, listen to everything, and ultimately, we hope that you all have a beautiful day. And remember to stay safe, stay hydrated, and don't get sick. Peace.